for Positive Business Talk.
Welcome back to the Experience Pros Radio Show. Thank you for tuning in. This is America's home for positive business talk. And Angel, we talk a lot about being an influencer. And it's not just us, it's everyone in business talking about the value of influencers and specifically micro-influencers, those who have a following of 10,000 to 100 people or 100,000 people. And the step to that is in the right direction is to jump in with our get 1,000 followers in 100 days campaign. We're doing that right now on our Experience Pros Network. You're invited to join us at Experience Pros Network on Facebook. But what are influencers if they are not top performers?
Right. And when you think about top performers, you talk about influencers, you talk about just being top of your game. You own the space, but what space do you have to start with owning? Your mindset. Your
mindset. Absolutely. Right? And so Austin Fable wrote a great article on some things that you can do today to develop yourself into a top performer. The first step, talking about that mindset, create a personal philosophy. Now that's a cool phrase. And I like it a lot for a couple of reasons. First of all, if you've listened to this program for very long, you've heard us reference what we call isms and osophies, right? And they're Eric-isms and angelosophies, and they are the mantras by which they're the boundaries that govern our existence. If it doesn't fit within the philosophies, it doesn't get done.
Right. Dr. Gervais, he actually has worked with some of the world's top performers, including, some of our top NFL teams. And he says, when we talk about training the mind, of course, being a top performer is all about that mindset, having that mental awareness and being prepared. He says it becomes almost fruitless to have the mental skills if there's nothing to collaborate who you are and who you're becoming.
Hello.
Right? He says this is where your personal philosophy comes in. So the idea is to write down, pen and paper, physically write down your personal guiding philosophy. Now, I've never done this, so this is kind of we're learning this together. So he says this is this is what you will then use to line up your thoughts, line up your words, and line up your actions across every environment. It's your guideposts.
Absolutely. Now, Dr. Gervais doesn't pull any punches in the step 2 in becoming a top performer. I'm just going to tell you right now, you're not going to like. You're not going to like it.
He says you need to find a rugged and hostile environment. This is almost like Frederica yesterday. What was it? Life Brain Hack. What was her book? I'll look it up.
That's all right.
But she talks about, being a little bit scared actually can force us to be higher performers.
Look, if you're going to be at your best at anything, you can't just go in and run through the daisies. You've got to be in I want
to dance on clouds.
You get to when you're done, right? But what you got to do, how do the Philadelphia Eagles take down the New England Patriots?
Aren't they now America's champions?
They go out and they fight. They beat themselves up in practice because they know that the Patriots aren't going to pull punches, right? The same thing happens here. And we're not talking about being physically dangerous to be rugged. What we're talking about is an environment where your heart starts to thump because you know that something is or will be on the line.
Right? Your heart like pounding out of your chest.
If you don't get this, you're going to miss everything.
So the key here is we're stepping out of our comfort zone.
Come on.
Stepping over to the other side, right? And something is small, striking up a conversation, picking up that phone, putting in that request. You know what that thing is. We all know. What is that thing that we've been afraid of doing, not stepping into, and we've just kind of kept the blinders on and been holding ourselves back? Step into that. Your heart's going to start thumping, but this is where you become that top performer.
There you go. Number 3, train your brain for optimism. That's what we do here every day on the Experience Pros Radio Show. You remember when they said we wouldn't last for 3 months because it's got to be angry. If it bleeds, it leads.
Who wants that positive stuff? Right?
And 8.5 years later, 38 syndicated markets across the country. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something.
There's a place. I'm jazzed on this article because this article underscores everything that we believe. If you want to be a top performer, you got to show up. You got to train yourself in a rugged and hostile environment, and you got to train your brain for optimism, because there's going to be a day when it's darker than any other day. And if you're not trained for the light, you won't know which direction to go.
Super, super powerful, right? All of this. And we do this every single day. We lift you up. We encourage you. We bring that positivity to the table that you're not going to get anywhere else, training your brain for optimism. Next step is to pay attention to recovery, sleep, hydration,
yes,
nutritional diet, not the chemical poop storms that most of us, exercise, mental practices, meditation, gratitude practices. This is the softer side, right? We think, I just want to do, right? Go, grow.
Your downtime is as important as your uptime. And then, the final one here is an interesting one. And I understand where it comes from. Be driven, but avoid attachment. If you're going to be a champion, you got to be driven. You have to want to succeed so badly, you're willing to push yourself like you've never done before. The other side of it is that you got to find the proper balance between being driven to succeed and the outcome. And I agree with that. Here's the deal. You can be driven to accomplish something, but maybe life throws you a twist, and the something that you accomplish isn't exactly what you imagined in the beginning. Angela and I never imagined being talk show hosts on the radio. We were consultants. We were trainers, but life shifted and we said, oh, there's the opportunity. And trust me, we found, rugged and hostile. we found optimism, and we've discovered recovery.
We have, and one of those, we talk about all of the steps here. This is, maybe we didn't have our own personal philosophy written down, but when you start to think about it and you start to put pen to paper, you realize I really do have a personal philosophy. I really do have those pillars that are driving me. And so write it down so you see it on paper as your guiding force, and then surround yourself with people that are going to push you, lift you up, and encourage you, instead of pulling you down.
That sounds like the Experience Pros Network. Go check us out on Facebook. Again, if you want that How to Become a Micro-Influencer CD for free, go to WeMakeYouVisible.com. We'll see you again tomorrow.
The Experience Pros, revolutionizing the way people treat people in business.